Hello everybody, it's Dr. Carmen Bryant. I'm back. Happy Friday to everybody. This is my YouTube channel. It is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Thank you guys so much for joining me. All the new followers, all the new subscribers. I truly appreciate you guys coming to my Facebook page, not Facebook, but YouTube channel and joining me and finding something that I have to say valuable that'll help you in your situation. Thank you guys for all the emails and the comments. And those of you that are on Instagram, this is a brief clip. Go to my YouTube channel, Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse, and watch the full video. And thank you guys so much. So today, I just wanted to revisit. Today's Friday, so I'm gonna try to keep it short, but you know how that goes, you guys. So I just wanted to revisit narcissism, gaslighting, and blame shifting. And so just to give you guys kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? Trying to give you a brief, quick synopsis of narcissism to take you into the revisiting the gaslighting and then talk about the blame shifting. Because one thing that I noticed with a lot of survivors from this type of abuse is that you're very unsure of yourselves. You guys have a hard time making decisions. I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people have a hard time making decisions. You're very, very apologetic. You apologize about everything. You know, you have a hard time. As also codependency, you know, and the results of this type of abuse that you guys have been through. But a lot of you have a hard time saying no, and people getting mad at you, getting angry with you. A lot of you have a problem making decisions, have a low self-esteem. You don't trust your own decisions. You know, you don't trust that what you have to say is valuable, or that you're smart, or that you're pretty, or that you're handsome. You know, a lot of you guys have been so tormented and so abused that you don't find anything good about yourself. But these are not even your own thoughts. You know, this is not something that you're more powerful than what you think you are. Beautiful, smart, intelligent people. I mean, I read a lot of the comments that are on the YouTube channel. You guys are some very intelligent individuals. You guys are very intelligent, very intuitive. You know, you guys been through a lot, but you know, what you say has a lot of weight to it, has a lot of value. You know, everybody may not agree, because everybody may not be in the place that you're at or understand it the way that you say it. But you know, a lot of you guys put some very valuable information, and those of you that put garbage on there, you know, I will delete you in a heartbeat. So if you're missing a comment, I probably deleted it, because it doesn't benefit the people around you. It doesn't help the people. When people are survivors and people are coming out of this, people are very sensitive. And I want to say this publicly on YouTube, is that when people are coming out of these type of relationships and abuse and torment, you guys will be surprised at some of the things that I have seen that has occurred with narcissist abuse. And if you allow me to share, you know, all the years that I've been doing counseling, I have seen, you know, and I'm giving you an idea as to, and you know, I don't have to explain myself, but I like to do it so you guys understand my train of thinking, because we're family, you know, so you guys know how I think when I do what I do. So, and why I delete comments, you know, because number one, I'm very sensitive to the hurts of other people. When I say sensitive, because I've been there, and you know, things that people say, sometimes people say things without thinking, and they're very harsh. Or if they've never experienced narcissist abuse, they say things that don't, well, why don't you just leave? You know, why don't you stop talking to her? You know, stop talking to him. Well, that's easy for a person who's never experienced it before, but that's not easy for a person that's been through this type of abuse. Most people don't understand this type of abuse, where at least he didn't put his hands on you, at least she didn't touch you, you know. But psychological abuse is very damaging. There are some people that have committed suicide, and some of the cases that I've seen cases in which the parents were narcissistic parents and sold the children into child sex trafficking. Same individual that was sold into child sex trafficking had a traumatic brain injury where the skull was broken at 2 or 3 years old, and they refused to seek medical care for the child. And as they grew up as an adult, began to have some serious TBI symptoms, mental health issues, to a point where they, you know, but remember, they grew up in childhood sex trafficking. They grew up prostituting, you know, the child as a child, you know. So the adult becomes an adult and is a broken adult that is super hypersensitive and has a lot of mental health issues. I've seen cases where, you know, parents have abused the children to the worst degree. I've been in court situations in which narcissistic social workers, because of the fact, that the young parents didn't really know how to parent, they did not provide certain resources and manipulated the system, where I was called into as a support system for the person that I'm providing therapy, and I'm sitting in court listening to the social worker manipulate and lie and has the young mother's children taken away, and then walk out the courtroom laughing and joking about where they're gonna go and eat, and looking at the client, like, oh well, you should have did what I asked you to do. Basically, let me control you, and you do like I tell you to do without saying anything. And here I'm dealing with a client that I have to close the case because the state case is over, so I can't even communicate with her anymore, as she's crying like the children had died. I've seen cases in which people come in and they've been so abused that they're afraid to speak up, and they want me to help them, and I can't do anything to help them because they're afraid to speak up. I have been in situations in which I have helped individuals move out of state, in almost like a witness protection program, move out of state only to reconnect to the narcissist, and to start the abuse all over again. So I've seen cases that are horrific, and the tragedies and the deaths that have been involved. People have committed suicide, people have, horrible things. And so I'm very sensitive when it comes to the people on this YouTube channel that are hurting. And so when people make comments, but be cognizant of the fact that you're dealing with victims that have suffered a lot. And so if your comments are harsh, or you just gonna be you and say what you got to say, then I'm gonna do what I got to do and say what I got to say and delete you, so we can be ghetto together, but I'm gonna take care of the people that are in this tribe. I'm gonna do the best that I can, so I just wanted you guys to know this is narcissism, and not everybody is a narcissist. We understand that, but a lot of the cases that I've seen that did involve narcissism, were horrific cases. Some people got away and some people did not, and actually were even killed by the narcissist. And so just to quickly go over, let's look. Now my computer wants to be slow now that I'm on camera, but let's kind of review the narcissism. I think it's because it's late in the evening, so now all of a sudden my computer's slow, you guys. Okay, so let's look at the term narcissism. Okay, so we're going to go through just a few little vocabulary just to make sure that we know what we're talking about. Okay, so let's look at narcissism. Okay, come on, Britannica. And this is on Britannica.com. Okay, there we go. Okay, Narcissism in Psychology. And this is written by Frederick Rodewald. And this is under Encyclopedia Britannica. There we go, Britannica. So narcissism is a pathological self-absorption, first identified as a mental disorder by a British essayist, so my UK family, discovered by the British essayist and physician Havelock Ellis in 1898. Narcissism is characterized by an inflated self-image and addiction to fantasy. All of these narcissists live a fantasy world. They create this fantasy in their mind, and they try to live it out, and people are looking at them like, this is so unrealistic. A fantasy world in their head they're playing out. It's just like, remember when kids were when kids were little and they watched television and they were going to be Superman and Spider-Man and and they have, I'm going to be Spider-Man and I'm going to be Superman, and they have these fantasies, and eventually they grow out of it. Well, a narcissist never grows out of it. The older that they get, the bigger the fantasy gets. So their addiction to fantasy by unusual and also by unusual coolness and composure, shaken only by the narcissist when the narcissist's confidence is threatened. So the cool and calmness that they present to you is shaken when they get a narcissistic injury. A narcissistic injury meaning that their illusion has been, the illusion has been popped. You know, the reality that you're not perfect, you're not as beautiful, someone is smarter than you, someone is more beautiful or talented than you, or somebody's more wealthier than you, someone is more educated than you, or someone is educated and can prove that they're educated and they're not. And so it's called a narcissistic injury. And so when their self-confidence is threatened, something as simple as, hey, Carmen, you know, your notes are late, I need you to catch up on your notes, or hey, Carmen, matter of fact, that lipstick doesn't look good when you're on camera, or you speak too low when you're on camera. Okay, that's not a narcissistic injury to me. That to me is a, okay, you're giving me a constructive criticism, let me go and fix it. Well, for a narcissist, for you to say, hey, your voice is too low, or hey, the lipstick is too loud, or for the camera, won't you try this kind of lighting? It makes them, and this is abnormal, remember, makes them feel like what you're saying is you're not worth anything, you're stupid, and you can't do anything right. That's what they hear. They hear you attacking them. They don't see that as constructive criticism. You're like, but I'm only trying to help you. No, you're just trying to judge me. You're a hater. Well, okay. But that's how they think at all times. So it doesn't matter what you say. Constructive criticism is not taken as constructive criticism. They don't see it. They see it as a personal attack against their self-esteem, because you're trying to embarrass me and make me look bad. By the tendency, when the narcissist's confidence is threatened, and by the tendency to take others for granted and to exploit them, meaning to seek supply and take advantage of the supply by seeking copious amounts of fuel from whatever good supply that they can get a hold of. The disorder is named for the mythological figure Narcissus, who fell in love with his own reflection. Remember that. According to Sigmund Freud, narcissism is a normal stage in child development, but is considered a disorder when it occurs after puberty. And remember, we're still going to talk about that. I'm still studying that, guys. I know you guys asked me that question. So let me go look. Okay, so narcissistic personality disorder is usually diagnosed through clinical evaluation. So like I said before, everybody is not a narcissist. So even though a lot of us come on camera and we talk about the narcissist, in reality, you can't just diagnose somebody with narcissistic personality disorder because because it could be something else. It could be some narcissistic traits. It could be sociopath, psychopath. It could be antisocial personality disorder. It could be a lot of things. They may not be narcissists. They may have bipolar. They may have, so there are a lot of symptomology and different disorders that kind of favor each other. And so really, in all honesty, to diagnose someone with narcissistic personality disorder, it takes a clinical professional to perform tests and measurements and intake forms. I do a psychological intake, but I also do a personality assessment, which also will point out narcissistic traits or narcissistic personality disorder or other personality disorders to explore. But it does take tests and measurements to determine truly if a person has narcissistic personality disorder. Now, for those of you that have been in relationships with those individuals and you're watching the videos and a lot of these symptomologies and behaviors, true enough, you may not be a professional, but I know I was married to a narcissist, or yes, I know I was in a relationship with a narcissist, definitely. But remember, when you're speaking to a court, when you're speaking to law or medical personnel, when you're going into counseling or domestic violence, how do you solidify what you say? Because even me as a professional, I still need to solidify what I say. If I diagnose someone with someone, how do I know that? It's like citing in college, cite your work. Where'd you get that from? So it's basically prove yourself to show that, this diagnosis is really, how did you get that? Where did those symptoms come from? How do you know it's not something else? How did you rule this disorder out versus this disorder? So that's a clinical thing. But those of you that have been in a relationship with narcissists, you guys know there's nothing nobody can say. There's nothing nobody can tell me. I know what I know that I know. And so do you, So let's see. So I don't care who argues with you, Let's see. So in the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders, 5th edition, the terms personality traits of grandiosity. Let's look at the term grandiosity. What does it mean when they have this grandiosity in this personality? Grandiosity, the psychiatric term, is having an exaggerated belief in one's importance. They always think in their mind, they are convinced that they are more important than the average person. Even though they may not have education to back it up, they may not have experience to back it up, they've adopted the language and watch people and mimic them, but it solidifies in their mind that if I can do that, if I can talk like that, then I'm qualified in that area as well. Just because you may study a law book's constitutional rights does not make you a lawyer. It requires a law school. It requires practicing under a lawyer, practicing your skills, writing papers, studying cases, and they give you cases to perfect what you're doing in order to perfect you in that profession. Well, the narcissist doesn't see that. If they read something, whatever they interpret, how they interpret is right. So they are more relevant even than their own lawyers, even than the judge. I've watched it too many times. If there's a court order given, they'll come back in, well, I made the decision, and the average court is like, what shocks me sometimes is that the court won't even do anything to them. Like, if you're bold enough to do that, but with some courts will fine you. Oh, so you're the law now. Okay, so that's how you interpret the law. But they are more important than the average person. They're more important than you are. It doesn't matter. You should be thankful that you are gifted with a great gift like me, because you'll never find anybody like me. We know. That's why we left. So let's see. Sometimes, so they have an exaggerated belief in one's importance, sometimes reaching delusional proportions. So they even get to the point where they're delusional. It's like they have this, let's say the flying monkeys or this entourage that they have. So they show up with this entourage and everyone is like, who is she? Or who is he? Oh, you don't know who I am? No, I don't think you know who you are. And like, why do they got an entourage? So, but it's the appearance that they're important. Well, they got an entourage and they got all these people that are catering to them, then obviously they must be important. But you see how you got sucked into the game? When the average person is like, okay, so who are you? Never be starstruck. Even if you met a star or even if you meet stars, never be starstruck. They're human beings just like you are. They have great achievements. They've done great things. Never be starstruck, because they're people just like you and I. They use the bathroom. They go to sleep. They eat. They have issues, they put their pants on one leg at a time, they brush their teeth, some of them, some of them are nasty, some of them are not, some of them are musty, some of them are not, some of them believe in the natural stuff, and we read about that in the papers, so it's not a secret. But never be starstruck, because a narcissist will also pull on that, because if they show up with a big entourage, obviously you must be important. And so, but the average person, like, who are you supposed to be? Why you got all these people catering to you and spraying water in your face and fanning you like you a pharaoh in Egypt, and they got these big palm leaves, and they walking around playing a theme music in the background like you Shaft or somebody. Go sit your irrelevant self down, But that's how they are. I've seen it. Maybe not to that extreme, but I have seen it, and I said, oh my gosh, if I could take pictures and do a live video when it happens, I sure would have. But of course you got to ask for permission to put someone on camera. But delusion, so sometimes these grandiosity reaches delusional proportions and occurring as a common symptom of mental illness. So it's proof of mental illness when you get to a point where you believe it yourself. And you'll also find it a lot of times in bipolar disorder, in the manic episode, where they have this grandiose thinking, I'm more relevant and I need to save the world and I am a god and people have to listen to me. And I've seen that too. So now you understand the term grandiose, or the grandiosity part of narcissism. Okay, let's, so my computer slow again. So Britannica.com is not responding, so let's wait for the page to come up. There we go. All right, so in terms of personality traits of grandiosity and attention seeking, so they always seeking attention one way or another, through intellect, through looks, any kind of way they can get attention. And in terms of significant impairments in personality functioning, such as looking excessively to others for regulation of self-esteem. So when we talking about narcissists and them seeking supply for fuel, what they're looking for is someone to cater to their low self-esteem. Their self-esteem, the feelings of low, the low self-esteem, those levels of feeling grandiose and feeling relevant and important, they have to go find supply that makes them feel relevant, that caters to them, that flatters them. They love flattery. they love all the attention that they get and the things that people say about them. They'll even invoke it themselves. They do wonderful things in order to get compliments from people. And so this is them seeking supply. Each person provides different fuel. Each supply or each person provides a different level of fuel that they need. It's the primary source that provides them with the copious amounts of fuel, but then all day they have to, they grow bored, it's not enough, and the more, it's like an addiction, the more you feed the addiction, the more of the drug you need. And so a primary source is never enough for a narcissist. Nothing is ever enough. They're a big leaking empty hole. Leaking pale empty hole. The more you put into this empty hole is like a what is that in the space, a black hole. You put stuff in the black hole, it disappears. It's just a big black hole, and they're like a walking black hole, absorb stuff but never give anything back. They're always empty, and they need more and more to a point where they literally drain people. So let's see. They view themselves as exceptional. They have impaired empathy, so they have the inability to feel empathy and compassion, and they have superficial relationship. All their relationships are superficial, but it's a game. They're constantly living a life of a chess game. They're always playing Battleship. They're always playing games in order to get their needs met. They don't know how to come out to get their needs met. They always have to manipulate to get what they want or to take what they don't deserve. Let's see. So we've talked about that. So narcissists want positive feedback about themselves. That's a part of getting that supply. Hold on, let me scroll up a little bit. Persons who, let's see. So they're preoccupied with mainly excessively positive self-concepts. They become overly concerned with obtaining positive, aggrandizing feedback from others and react with extreme positive or negative emotions when they succeed or fail to receive confirmation that others hold them in high regard. Everybody doesn't hold a person in high regard. Some people don't like you. That's just the name of the game. Some people you just don't like. I don't like being around you. I don't like your personality. I don't even like the energy you give. I'm not going to disrespect you. Hey, how you doing, girl? All right. But I'm not going to hang around you. You get on my nerves. Get away from me. But I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to hurt your feelings, But with a narcissist, they assume that everyone is supposed to like them. So there is no such thing as, I don't know why you don't like me. You must be crazy. If you don't like me, then you are abnormal. Something is wrong with you. So you see how the world centers around them? If you don't like me, there, something is wrong with you, not me. Something's wrong with you. And in your mind is like, something's all wrong with you. Narcissists want positive feedback about themselves, and they actively manipulate others to solicit or coerce admiration from them. They'll force people to give them accolades to a point where people are like, oh my gosh, here they come again. I don't have any more compliments for you. According to narcissism Accordingly, narcissism is thought to reflect a form of chronic interpersonal self-esteem regulation. That's what they do. They regulate their self-esteem by finding sources of supply to provide them with fuel. That fuel is the ability to regulate their self-esteem and feel good about themselves because they internally cannot do it. So let's see. So now let's move over to gaslighting. So, there's a video I did on gaslighting, but let's go back and revisit gaslighting. So gaslighting, according to the Encyclopedia Britannica, written by Brian Duignan, gaslighting is an elaborate and insidious technique of deception and psychological manipulation, usually practiced by a deceiver or a gaslighter on a single victim over an extended period. Its effect is to gradually undermine the victim's confidence in his or her own ability to distinguish truth from falsehood, right from wrong, or reality from appearance, thereby rendering him or her pathologically dependent on the gaslighter in his thinking or feelings. And so a lot of times you'll find that in the trauma bonding. Remember, they want you addicted to them. They want to be the only source you go to for information. And there's no such thing as one person having all the answers. No such, I don't even have all the answers, and we're talking about narcissist abuse. I don't have all the answers for that. A lot of the questions that you guys are asking, especially you're dealing with law, you're dealing with certain things, I have to go study that. But even sometimes I just don't get it, and I just have to study it. That's why some topics strategies I don't bring out right away until I study it and I get an understanding of it. But I don't know everything. Most of these coaches don't know everything. Everybody has been through a different experience. However, with a narcissist, they want you to solely depend on them for all the information and everything, making you totally dependent and addicted to this individual. That's why a lot of you who have come out of these relationships, you question your own reality. You question your ability to make decisions. If I get, I want to get this car because I like this car, but I think it's stupid. It's not a good looking car. It's not a good, it's a dumb car. Well, who told you that? Well, he or she said that, and I don't want to get that car because, but what do you like? But I like that car. It depends on what you like. You get what you like. You don't worry about what they like. You get what you like because you are still an individual person. They try to literally morph, into you to have you so enmeshed with them that your thoughts have to be their thoughts. If you don't think like them, then you are wrong and you're going to get over abused, more traumatized and trauma bonded because you should be thinking like them. But it doesn't matter how you think. It's never good enough though. So it doesn't matter. You can think just like they think and then it's still not good enough. You can say something that they say, or you can be just as ugly as they are and they turn around and look at you like that is so disrespectful. I can't believe you said that. And you're looking at them like, that's what you always say. You misinterpret what I say. That is not what I meant when I said that. But you have some problems. They'll take what they project on you. You have some problems because I can't believe you would act like that. And you're thinking like, that's exactly how you talk. I don't know what you're talking about, but you need to get help. You need to get professional help because you sound very aggressive and very angry. You see how that's crazy making? Wait a minute, I thought you wanted me to respond like that. Let's see. So another thing, its effect is to gradually undermine the okay, so a lot of you struggle with being able to make your own decisions. You apologize. I said it earlier. You apologize for everything. You apologize for everything. Simple things. Oh, I'm sorry. I probably weren't dressed right. Oh, I'm sorry. And I didn't do that right. Oh, is that okay? And you look for affirmation all the time because they don't give you affirmation. They don't say thank you. They don't make you feel good about yourself. And in a friendship or even in a relationship, say thank you. Be nice. Act like you care about the person. They don't. Everything is one-sided. That's how what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. So let's look here. As a part of the process, the victim's self-esteem is severely damaged. And a lot of your self-esteem is totally damaged. And a lot of you say, I can never see myself doing what you do. A lot of you, are not ready to do this yet because you still have some processes to go through. But it's not like you can't do it. I was at a point where I couldn't figure out, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. There's no possible way that there's light at the end of the tunnel. I can't see myself heal from this. This right here must be a lifelong problem that I'll probably never get beyond until one day I say go through the grief process. I went through the grief process. I talked about how I felt and how I was violated and the things that occurred. And I had a good counselor, a good mentor. And eventually one day I woke up and I heard all the birds singing. And all of a sudden it was like HD and the sun was shining and all the little angels, the fat angels on the little clouds came and whoo! And I was like, whoa, this is so awesome. I was having a psychedelic experience, And I was in the car, but I realized wow, this grief has finally lifted off of me. I see the world differently. And I begin to think, how can I help other people? So it's coming. It just takes time. It's coming, you guys. Stop beating yourself up as if you can't do this. Your experience, though it's awful and horrible, and gaslighting is terrible because it breaks your esteem down. They know you are capable of doing anything you put your mind. The sky is the limit. You can do anything you want to do if you put your mind to it, if that's something you really want to do. But the problem a lot of times what hinders you is that you still replay the words in your mind. And those are not even your thoughts. Those are thoughts they gave you, to make you think that you can't do what you need to do. And some of you guys, I'm gonna tell you now, you guys are gonna be some awesome public speakers, some awesome writers, some awesome YouTubers. You guys are gonna be some awesome people. And some of you guys are gonna be stuck for a little while. But you guys have it in you. The gaslighting is to tear your mind up, to make you think you are crazy. And so here it says, let me go back. So a part of the process, the victim's self-esteem is severely damaged, and he or she becomes additionally dependent on the gaslighter for emotional support and validation. You don't know how to validate yourself. I don't need your validation. You're ugly. Oh, okay. and so be it. Everybody has an opinion. I may not be your style. All right, okay. I'm not going to change for you, but their hopes is that you'll change the way that they want you to change. And they don't even know what they like. It's just the fact that they don't like whatever it is that you're thinking of at that particular time. So they don't like it. So if you change it to what they like, then they don't like that either, because you're starting to think like that. But you see how that can drive someone crazy? So let's see. In some cases, it's intended and achieved. Result is to rob the victim of his or her sanity. The phenomenon is attested in clinical literature as a form of narcissist abuse. It's narcissist abuse, it's used in narcissist abuse. And let's see. And whereby the extreme narcissist attempts to satisfy his or her pathological need for constant affirmation and esteem. So that's narcissistic supply. So it's a pathological need for constant affirmation and esteem. That is what's called narcissistic supply. The fuel, that's fuel from a narcissistic supply. By converting vulnerable people into intellectual and emotional slaves whom he or she paradoxically despises for their victimhood. The crazy thing is, the more dependent you become on them, and the more unstable you become, and the more you cry, the more you beg and plead, the more they despise you, because they look at you as being weak. Because that's what they're like on the inside, but that's not what they portray. But they despise that. Even though that's what they encourage, they despise that. And so they begin to really despise you, because you're not as strong as you appeared. But what they don't understand is that you caused this disaster and this injury and this wound and this hurt. So the reason why I am now like this is because of the traumatic damage you have done to me, to my psyche, to my self-esteem, and they're looking at you like you're not the person it used to, because they tore you up. So they look at you like you are depleted. I need to go find something else to replace you. That's the hard part, the discard. So let's see. So the gaslighter is typically psychologically disordered, and they're fully aware of what they're doing. They don't know, a lot of them now, they know the names, but they don't know the name of what they're doing. They just know they like the way it feels and the effects they get from it. The cause and effects of their behavior and what they do and what they say. And so we've done that. So now let's go to the blame shifting. That's a part of the gaslighting, the trauma bonding, the blame shifting. And once again, my computer's thinking. So let's look. I've been on here about 30 minutes. I'm almost done. So when you talk about blame shifting, that's like in the middle of the gaslighting, the arguments. What happens is you may express to them, and this is on the Mind's Journal, and this is by, it's one of them I go to a lot. Anna Waller? And this is on the Mind's Journal. And so she's talking about playing the victim. So, that is one of the common ways that they shift blame, is when they mistreat you and then you express how they have mistreated you. What you're doing is letting them know how imperfect they are, and that they're very imperfect. So remember remember I told they can't handle constructive criticism at all, but I'm trying to express to you how you just hurt me and how that was very disrespectful and how you embarrassed me in front of all these people, where it makes it look like everything about them is about competition. So you're the victim now, and you're going to get the attention because people are going to console you. Oh, it's okay, and they're going to console you. Oh, well, I have to be the super victim then. And, my head is chopped off. And so, look, there goes my head, and so, but they have to be the super pathetic victim, as it says here, the super pathetic victim. So I'm victimizing you, but people are giving you the attention. So that means people are going to pay attention to you. So now I have to be the super victim. So I'm going to take what I did to you and I'm going to blame you for, no, that's not true. That's not what I did. That's what you do. That's what you do. So it's like arguing with a kid. Remember I said in another video, I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? They minimize your feelings. So that's why a lot of you come out and your feelings, how you felt, how you think has never been validated. And so you find yourself being very defensive with people. And so people that don't intend to harm you, people are human beings. So we're going to do and say things that may offend you, and you say it. You have to learn to express yourself. That really hurt my feelings because the way that I perceived it. And, well, that's not what I meant when I said that, what I was saying. And no explanation that, oh, that's not what I meant when I said that. It may sound hard. That's not what I was meaning. What I was saying was, and you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know. But, you have to know my character. You get to know me, know my character, and know that I'm not that type of person that would do something like that. So you have to learn people, learn their character, where that they're not purposely trying to hurt you. They're human beings and they make mistakes. We do. I probably offend a lot of people on YouTube. Oh, well. Then anyway, but I'm not minimizing your feelings though. But, so for example, it says that suppose they have hurt you and you have straightway mention it to them, and they would dismiss your feelings and they would invalidate them, and they may laugh and say, you are so sensitive. No, it's not the fact that I'm sensitive, it's the fact that I don't like that, and that's embarrassing, or I don't like that, that really hurts my feeling, and I asked you before to stop. Now, if you ask an average person to stop doing something, the first time, shame on you. The second time, shame on me. And sometimes you just have to okay, once or twice I can see, you have to get to know me, but if it's repetitive, then it's a choice. It's not an accident, but that becomes a choice. And so to minimize, you're just so super sensitive. See, that's why people think you're crazy now. Well, who are those people? Those people must be you. All of the people in you, so you're crazy, you're hysterical, you have no sense of humor. That was not funny. Everybody else thought it was funny. Who's everybody else? Everybody else is laughing. Who's everybody else laughing? Me and you personally know. They may be laughing, but they don't know what you and I have talked about, and they don't know the personal stuff that I've told you about that, and that really offends me. So they play it down like, oh my gosh, you don't even validate how I feel. You have no respect for me. They flip it around, so the argument becomes, they argue about the argument. So here you go arguing about the fact you have no respect for me. You act like you don't care. So they'll turn, they're yelling at you, and then you turn around and get bold and yell back at them. And then because they know that they're wrong, so they'll flip the whole conversation of, you don't disrespect me. You don't yell at me. You don't disrespect me or yell at me. Like, weren't you just screaming at me? And that's beside the point. The point that I'm trying to make is that you disrespected me no, you're disrespecting me right now because you're yelling at me. No, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. So it's almost, and then finally when you calm down, you begin to apologize to them, right? You know what? Maybe I did need to calm down. But then it's like, I don't even have the energy to keep on arguing about this because it's not going anywhere. So these circular arguments that never go anywhere, that never have a closure or a conclusion or anything. Guilt tripping or pity stories. And so if you're prone to feeling sympathetic for others, chances are they'll take full advantage of this. If you point out something hurtful they've done, they will start talking about their abusive childhood. So they'll divert the attention on themselves. They've done something, and then all of a sudden, that was really hurtful. That was very disrespectful what you did. And theirs become, I have PTSD, and how I grew up, and that my parents were like this, and I tried, but you don't give me credit for trying, and you never, what does that have to do with you running over my foot with the car? I told you, wait a minute before you back the car up. Now I have this blue boot on my foot, and they're like, but you don't understand, I'm so traumatized that sometimes I can't think straight, and you were so insensitive. And then you're like, you know what, you're right, I'm so sorry, you did go through a lot. You better stand your ground. No, you ran over my foot. Don't make me press charges on you. I'll put you in jail. I will call the po-po, So you guys have to stand your ground and not be afraid to speak up for yourself. I didn't say be argumentative, because you don't want to play into their game. You don't want to use their weapons. You want to maintain your calm, and you want to stay focused on the problem. We're not talking about oranges. We're talking about apples. Oh, okay, I understand all that. That's a whole nother conversation for another time, but I'm focused on this apple. I don't care about the oranges. I don't care about the rainbow Skittles. I don't care about the fluffy clouds and rainbow unicorns. I don't care about all that. I don't care if there's a squirrel. You're not ADHD. There's no squirrel running across here. Pay attention. I'm talking about the apples. You guys have to learn to say no. Don't be afraid to say no. And stop trying to explain yourself. Well, the reason why I said no. Can I borrow some money? No. Well, why not? Because I said no. Well, dang, I've never asked to borrow any money before. I ain't got it to give. Oh, you lying. You got money. Don't matter what I have. That's none of your business. What I'm telling you is no, I don't have it to give. I'm sorry. Well, why not? Because I don't. You see what I mean? So you don't have to explain yourself because I said so. That's why I said so. So you have to learn to say no and stop explaining yourself. You have to be able to give an answer without trying to justify yourself all the time. A lot of times you find yourself justifying yourself all the time. So when you make a decision, you're thinking out loud. And so you begin to justify the decisions that you're making. what you're arguing with is not even the person you're talking to. You're still arguing with the words that you heard that the narcissist said. So you're constantly in conflict with these words that were released into your mind. You're in constant internal conflict trying to prove yourself, trying to argue and trying to justify yourself. You don't have to justify yourself to nobody. No means no. Stop asking me. You know, and people that go, I said no, don't come back and ask me that question again. That's how you have to do kids sometimes. But why not? But why not? Because I said so. Stop asking me the question. Well, I'm going to take all your electronics. Matter of fact, you're going to sit in your room and be quiet. Stop talking to me. You know, stop it. Quit it. Stop. Time out. I'm going to get ready to explain myself. You know, kids a little different. But, you know, but even with kids, they'll why? Why not? Why? Why not? Why? Why not? You know. So stop trying to explain yourself. Stop trying to justify your decisions. Write it down. Write it on a piece of paper. You know, write down your decisions. You know, think about what you want to do. Think about what you want to do in life. And stop trying to justify yourself. Stop trying to prove yourself. You've been gaslighted. We just went over, you know, narcissism kind of in a nutshell. We just went over gaslighting in a nutshell. We even went and talked about kind of blame shifting. You know, the blame shifting. Nothing is ever their fault because you're messing with their self-esteem. You're messing with their ego. And so I just wanted to bring you that information because I was reading comments, I was getting some emails, and I just wanted to bring attention to that. Just kind of go back and reiterate some of the things that I've said in other videos and bring it into one video. So hopefully this has helped you. Now, this one was a long video. This was 40 minutes. I thought I was going to be quick, but I guess I didn't because, you know, I like to take my time to explain things. And so hopefully this has helped you. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Today's Friday. Have an awesome weekend. I'm going home. I'm in the office, and I'm going home to kick my feet up because I got to go back to work tomorrow and finish some paperwork, and I have some things that I have to do. So I just wanted to come in. I want to tell you guys that I'm proud of each and every one of you for your success, for your movement, for your healing process. And those of you that are just starting off in the healing process, go check out my videos. I do offer coaching services. It is at a fee. So a lot of you are emailing me and you're asking me a lot of questions. You want me to give you advice. You want me to respond and give. That comes with a price. I paid a price to be here. So you can pay a price for me to respond and interact with you. It's a lot of energy. When you're dealing with traumatized people, that's a lot of energy. That's a lot of thought. That's a lot of education. That's a lot of experience for me to sit and talk to you guys. You know, and so just like it came with a price, you know, yes, coaching has a price tag on it. So if you need advice, you want me to provide you with coaching, I can do that. I cannot provide counseling across state lines. I am in the state of Washington. I do not have licenses in other states, you know, as of this time, but I can provide coaching, which is different than counseling. And so you can email me at Dr. Carmen Bryant at outlook.com, DrCarmenBryant at outlook.com. Please be patient with me. I have lots and lots, hundreds of emails that come in. I can't respond to everybody. A lot of messages come through Facebook. I can't respond to everybody. It takes a lot of time, and I do have a full-time private practice, and so a lot of times I can't come back and respond. But I do appreciate, a lot of times I do read some of the stories, and I'm really honored that these videos are helping you. I am truly, truly honored that you would share your life with me like that. You know, be careful what you say on YouTube because you don't have just survivors of the tribe reading your comments. You have narcissists scrolling and trolling. And thank you guys for so much for telling me when there's trolls that are spamming on the channel. Let me know what video it is and let me know, and I'll go in there and I will report the spam and have them removed. If you find any offensive comments, you know, any offensive comments, don't argue with the people. Let me know what video it is so I can look for the comments so I can block them off of our channel, okay? So if you have not already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. I do have a Facebook page. My professional page is Psychological Health Consultants and Services, and my book page is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Please like the channels. Make sure you hit the bell so you know whenever I upload videos. I come on live on Sundays. I post videos Tuesday through Friday, and I come on live on Sundays between 8 and 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is West Coast in the U.S. We do have a guest that will be in on Sunday, so I'm not sure if I'll be available to be able to come on live, but I will post a video just to let you guys know I'm thinking about you, as I always do, so you can start your week. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't already, please go and order my book. It is Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. And look underneath the YouTube video. The links below will give you links to Barnes & Noble and also Amazon, where you can get the ebook, you can get the the Kindle book, you can get the hard copy, you can get the softback. If you guys want me to sign it, you'll be responsible for the postage back and forth, but I sure will sign it for you if you want me to. Those that are in the Washington area, you are welcome to send me the book, drop the book off, and I will send it back to you. Or if you're in the area, you're welcome to stop by my office and I will sign the book if I'm not in session. If I have clients, I can't just stop and just sign books. I can't do that, okay? But other than that, those of you that have asked about donations, I have links underneath the video link. You are welcome to donate. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for asking me as well. And I would take donations. I like donations, and it will help me to expand and progress this channel and what I want to do. I have a vision for what I want to do in assisting people overcoming narcissist abuse with classes. I have another book that I'm working on with classes, online classes that you can register for and get educated, because some of you have said that you can't really afford coaching at this particular time. So some classes at a nominal fee, and you guys say that you love the videos, and so you can pay for the classes. I'm working on a podcast. Some podcasts. I'm working on a podcast. Thank you guys for giving me those ideas. I really appreciate those that are technically savvy within the radio business. Thank you guys so much for giving me advice and talking to me. I really appreciate it. And so once again, thank you guys for being here, and go be great.